So today we're going to try to build another one of these. I built this one yesterday. I built this one with 2x4s all the way down. I've never done it that way before, but my son asked me to make it that way. He saw it somewhere else and he wanted it done that way. We're going to do it like this one, the traditional way with the plywood. I started off with a slapstick. I don't know, maybe about a month or two ago. I kind of built it too tall. I noticed that my son wasn't using it. So I took it all apart and I redesigned it. This little triangle in the front, I made it shorter, and he's a lot happy with it. He's a lot happier with it. Then I think I built this one here with some coping, and then I built this one to lead into it, and then I just want to do the sides. So these are 48 inches wide, this one's 24 inches, and I'm just going to build another one right here on this side, 24 inches. So when I made that other ramp, I made this template. So I had already taken that side right there and made a template and made that cutout, and I drew another one. I tinted pencil over here so you can't see it, but right here I marked it in Sharpie. I'm gonna cut this out, and then I'm gonna make a total of 4 of these. I used to make them on just one on each side, but they started getting wobbly. As much as my son rides them on his skateboard, they soften up when you have this thin of material of plywood. So I don't have 3/4 inch plywood or 1 inch, so I just make each side double. You'll see in a bit when I cut them out. So this piece here that I just cut out, here I'll mark it, I'll put it up next to this one. It's pretty much the same size. We're just gonna take this and build the rest of it over here so that we can go up on both sides. That's our plan for today. So we gotta build 3 more of these. I have to go to the store if I don't have to. Ooh, it's a little bit short, so 23, what's less than a half? 3/8? 23 3/8. It was a little bit shorter than 47. So So that means if I make one 23 and a half, the other one's going to be short. Alright, so we brought out the miter saw. I grew up calling it the chop saw. This is a DeWalt. I bought this a few years ago. It's battery operated, and it's going to do the job today. When I was cutting yesterday, the blade was pretty dull. So if you see me struggling, it's because this blade, I've been using it for a while. I might have a new one, but I'm going to try to get everything I can out of this one. Alright, here we go. 47s into 23 and a halves. We're trying to build a structure for the ramp. I like to build these on the floor because in the past, the ones that I built, sometimes they wobble. So I like to build them on the floor so that you know that the bottom is level. I know the floor can be uneven as well, but it's a lot better than building it on the table. So the last ones that I built on the floor, they haven't wobbled. So yeah, I like building them on the floor. You can kind of get an idea of what the ramp's going to look like now. It'll have plywood here, right? But the structure of it are these 2x4s. These 2x4s are going to hold it all together. I'm going to screw them in on both sides. Like this, for example. Screw the plywood here, screw the plywood this way. And we'll put several of these on the way up. And then on the box on the back. So that's just to give you a general idea of what we're building. And that's why I cut them out all the same size, so that we're kind of square as much as we can be. Starting to get some shape. Gotta leave it a little bit loose. If I leave it a little bit loose, it lets me get these last 2x4s in. If I get it too tight, then I gotta hammer those in position. So if I leave it a little bit loose, I'll screw these in at the end. A little eighth. You're wondering how I get the screw to start. I've already pre-drilled the start with this drill here. So I'll start it so I don't have to struggle to get the screw started. I just come here where the hole's at. I can just give it a little turn, and then I'm ready with the impact. Same thing, the second hole right here. I just didn't film that part. I got two more to go in here. Or else it's impossible to get these guys in. I have to hammer them in. So I'll mark where I want the stud to line up. I'll mark where I want the stud, and then I know that I gotta put roughly a screw there. And another one there. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. So these are 2.5 inch screws. That's what I'm using. I think it's overkill. This is what I used to use on the big 3-foot ramp, quarter ramp. But that's what I have. I'm gonna start running out of those little 2 inches. So, and I got tons of 2.5. So I've been using these 2.5. In case you're wondering what size screw I'm using. I think it's a little bit of overkill, but that's what I got. I'm gonna leave them a little bit loose because I still got one more 2x4 to fit in there. I'm gonna have to put a little piece of wood in here to fill in that gap. I guess it's called noping when there's no coping, when there's no round tubing. The other ramps have a coping where I'll use either. I like to use 1.5 inch round tubing, but you can use 2 inch, 2.5 inch. That one out there has 2.5 inch. I'm gonna pull that out a little bit because I got this guy to fit in, and he's already in there tight. So I'm just eyeballing where I want these. I used to measure them. I used to put them like this. I used to put them the long ways, but I don't know, on the last one they seem to be a little bit stronger. I don't know which way works better, but I've been doing them like this lately. Sometimes so I could use a longer screw for more strength. But what I'm gonna do right now is just gonna mark where I want it. It's not perfectly aligned, you know, I'm just putting it where I think it should be. And I'll mark here with my pencil so I can pre-drill some holes. Mark that right there. Just kind of eyeballing it, doesn't need to put another one here. Go back with the drill bit. I think it's a 1/8 drill bit. 1/8. The reason I can pull that in and out right now is because I've left these loose. I left those loose so that I can maneuver that I've learned from building the other ramps. Pre-drill some holes so I'm not struggling to get my screw started. Here's the 2 inch. Here's the 2 inch screw. They were pretty good, but I'm running out. And I got tons of 2.5s and 3s and 3.5s, but I don't have a lot of 2 inch screws. So since I pre-marked that, I kind of know where to eyeball, where to put this drill hole so that I can put this last piece of lumber in. I'm trying to get this recessed. I'm trying to get it flush because I used to make them recessed inside so the plywood would land on the inside, but I'm just trying to get it flush right here. And I didn't like how that started, so I'll try again. That was the last one, huh? Gives you problems? I'm not having luck on this side, so let me try on this side. That's not bad. It's a little bit under, which is better than being over. Let me see if I can get this side in. That's not bad. Finish putting these two in. And then these two. Squeeze everything together right there, closing this gap. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little gap right there. I broke that 2x4, but I think we'll be all right. The bottom screw is holding it together. Get these. All these are loose on this side. Framing part of it, you know, put a piece of plywood here, then a piece of I've been using 18 gauge. Recently I've been using 16 and even thicker steel, 14. The last piece I got was 14 as a plate to roll into it. It's hard to get the plywood to land flush, and that always hurts when the wheels hit for the first time. So I've seen it on other ramps on Instagram that they use a plate. So I've been buying scrap metal and just doing that. But I always have to have a good place to screw in the metal. So this one always has to be good. And I've been putting this 1x1 as well. This maybe 2x2. What size is that? Well, and when you measure lumber, it's a 2x4, but it's actually what, 3.5 by 1.5? Yeah. So this is, yeah, it's a 1.5, but they call it a 1x1. I might not be right, but so I like that one because I mark it here. Might as well mark it now. I mark it, and then I know where to put some sheet metal screws, or just some screws to hold that plate. Then I gotta find a piece of wood that'll slide in here for noping. We'll figure that out. I got lucky last time. I had something that was already cut at an angle and I kind of jammed it in there. I don't know if I'm gonna be that lucky today. But there's the frame. You know, started at 8 in the morning. I don't know what time it is. 10:20. Couple hours. Cut some 2x4s. Cut some plywood. Put it all together. They will start out pretty light. That one ended up being pretty heavy. That one that I built yesterday. So I usually do some cutouts right here so that we can pick it up between two people. Or if I'm by myself, I can grab one here and grab it here. And kind of take it out to the street. But that's it right there. There's the framing part of it. I'll cut out a sheet of plywood. Oh, you know what? I put plywood here and plywood here. I don't have to fill in this gap. I forgot that I was going to plywood this one. So I'll plywood here and plywood here. And it'll fit that other side. That's it right there. They end up being pretty heavy. So I make these cutouts here so that we can carry them out to the street or wherever we want them. I'll cut these out with the jigsaw. These are all the tools that I've used so far. An impact drill, an angle grinder, a jigsaw, a little jigsaw right here, multi-tool. I think they call this oscillating or something like that. I call it a multi-tool because this head swivels and it has a bunch of uses. A regular drill, screw gun, whatever you want to call it. Everybody calls it something different. A skill saw. Technical name's a circular saw. I call it a skill saw. There's that. I think skill saw is the name of the brand that got real popular. You know, but it's a circular saw. This is the official name is a miter saw, but I call it a chop saw. I grew up calling it a chop saw. Had that for a while. 7.5 inch, I think, is the size of it. It's not really made to be cutting big pieces of wood. I got it mostly to do baseboard. These are some of my son's skateboards. I think this was his first board, probably like 5-6 years ago. That little board right there. I think this is his street board. I think he's probably on his 3rd or 4th street board. And then he was into, this is called, I think that's called an old school board. It's a lot wider. This one's made for like skating swimming pools and stuff. I think that's his second one. I think the brand is Hosoi. Yeah, he just got this one at the Pomona swap meet 2 weeks ago. And this is my daughter's board. She skates on this. I made this board out of plywood. I cut this out. Somebody gave us a bunch of free trucks and wheels, so I cut that out of plywood. Put that grip tape on there. That's a board somebody gave him. That's a penny board. He loves this penny board just as much as he loves any other board. He has a lot of fun with that penny board. There's another penny board here that's bigger that I use, but must be somewhere else in the garage. 25 by 29. So there's the sheet of plywood that's gonna sit on here. Now the reason I'm able to flex the plywood that much is because this was from another ramp that I had built and already taken apart. I've scored this. I've scored this all the way down, I don't know, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more. And that gives it the flexibility to follow the curve that we want it to follow. Right there, like that. There's a little bit of cracking, but you know, we'll screw it down, start putting screws here, and then we'll work our way down. This is probably a little bit too long, but I did that on purpose. And then eventually a plate from here down, like that, like those 18 gauge over there, or 16, or even up to 14. So there's the idea right there. I think I'm gonna grab the router, try to turn this right here for now, and see how far I can get this so that it's, I think my son calls it noping. No coping. So there's the plywood, there's a little piece up top. We're gonna keep working on it. Just using this router and just getting this curvature right here. So right now I'm gonna screw this down. So I'm putting these lines so I know where the studs are at. So I know where to drive in those screws onto the plywood so that they can hit the 2x4. Otherwise I'm just guessing when I screw them in. I put in these really long ones just to get started, and then I'll take them back out and put little ones. It's just I just need it to grab. I don't need it to necessarily, if you go too hard, it'll crack it. You know, you need it to kind of bow and bend. So I'll go back and take these out. Just little by little, I'll be grabbing the studs. So with those lines that I marked, and it gives me an idea where that stud's going to be. and then I'll connect the line between those two that I just made. I'll grab the level and I'll use the level as a straight edge. Just connect those two lines. I don't know if I'm gonna put screws in the middle because it's so short. On the wider ones, the 48-inch ones, you know, I could do 1, 2, 3, but I think I might be able to get away with just these long ones down the edges because it's only 24 inches. We'll see. So because the back is scored, the plywood kind of starts curving. That's what I want. You know what? Since I'm not going all the way across, I can just use this one right here. These two. If you hear the wood starting to crack, it's okay. I know the first time I heard it, I was like, oh no. I'm not putting them all the way in. I'm just getting them slower, getting the wood to bend. A little pre-drill. Helps me out a little bit. Get the screw in easy. This is a 1/8 bit. So the last one's a 1x1. So I don't think I can use that long screw anymore. I'll have to use maybe like a little 2-inch, 1.5 inch. We'll see if these work. I forgot what size these are. If it goes through, then we'll pull it out and we'll use a smaller screw. We'll see. Alright. Alright, I'm going to try to keep bringing these down together. Slowly, little by little, getting the curves that I want. I'll probably take these out already and put the ones I'm going to normally put. This one's spinning. I don't know if I need a longer one or if I missed. Oh, it's hitting this one that's down here. Actually, that 1x1 broke. As I was trying to nail the plywood down, I ran into the screw that was holding it this way and it broke. So I'm gonna try to, let me see if I have another 1x1. Alright, so I found another one. This is the only one that I have. I thought I lost it. So I gotta cut it a little bit right there. Probably gonna edge this corner right here so I can go as far out as I can this way. I cut about, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch on that side. screw this back in and start the whole process again. This one's shot. This one, because the screw going down hit the screw going this way, it ruined this piece, but that's okay. We'll just keep working. I decided not to router this edge. I'm gonna leave it. Alright, now with that 1x on, I think I'm ready to put the plywood back on. Just put it up there again. Put the 3-inch screws, 2.5-inch screws, and start to get that curve that I want. Try to see if I can line it up using the same holes. I gotta remember this hole, I'm gonna make a new one. I need my pencil. This hole's no good. This one right up. We'll put an X on it. We'll drill another one. A little bit more inside. Because the wood chipped right there. And then here, since that screws here, that means this one's no good. Push it up. I'm gonna go to your side. Oh, that one's already in. Squeeze in already. Hand me some more of these, Pop? Right there, right here behind me. Right here behind me. Right. Is that other drill right there? Hand me that drill with that bit on it, please. Hold up. Alright, I'm done with that one. Put it back. Take a look at it. You got some shorties right there? There's some shorties right here, right? Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, like that. Just go slow on that. Because look, watch, come look. So you know, that's a lot that's left, you know. So if you go all the way down, yeah. Now hit those, yeah. Yeah, take them all together. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get these in now. Cut this. It's not letting it fully sit. Give me a pencil. Grab a pencil and mark this right here. right on that red line. It is on this one. What's it on over there?
It's a little bit before that.
Okay. So mark on top where that line's at, and then grab that level, that red one, and we're gonna draw a line right where that's where we're gonna cut.
Okay.
Actually, let's put it on the ground. Just put it on. So I have this piece of galvanized that I bought for scrap for like $1 a pound, something like that. And then I'm gonna use this skill saw that I have an abrasive wheel on. That may or may not make it through. It's already pretty thin. It's pretty used, so we'll see how far we got. Switch this cutting wheel for this flat, and this flat doesn't have much left. I got another one.
Shift it a little. What do you think, Tom? Yeah. So just drill some holes in it and then drill it out? Yeah.
Ramp that I made yesterday, anytime he does a certain trick, it starts to chip away at the 2x4. So I'm gonna see if putting this little metal on the 2x4 prevents it from chipping. This is just a little piece of scrap that I had lying around, but we're gonna see if we can make this work. I try not to leave the head of the screw sitting on top of the metal, so usually I try to take a bigger drill bit, kind of recess the hole so that it kind of sits under the metal. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a little bit better if it kind of sits under. That way it doesn't scratch his trucks. Usually if I go too hard here, it'll go through the whole metal, so I gotta be careful. Just like that. On the last one. I don't know, that might tear up your trucks. What do you think?
I think as long as you get as flush as possible, then it'll be fine.
Then I gotta hammer it more. Guess we'll learn, right?
Right.
All right, let's see.
Cool.
I mean, I can do better, but let's try it and see what happens.
All right, cool.